Hello and welcome back to Inquisitor Martyr. Last time we ran intel on a random mission, and this time we're probably going to run intel again, but we're going to run our seasonal mission, mostly because I don't want this to get too out of hand. And it's already a little above my level. I think it's in a sweet spot, and I don't want to risk it. So let's go usual Psalm code, XP boost, and void shards. That 48% damage bonus is really gonna hurt. But it should do well, hopefully. I really hope. God, I love this gun. Honestly, the Crusader gets the best weapons, I think, in this game. Because all your options are just, like, stupidly good. Oh, you need to deal with AoE? Okay. Do you want a grenade launcher, or do you want to use a flamethrower? Do you want to use a plasma cannon and a heavy bolter? You don't even have to care about anything else, las rifle, or las gun, pistol, any of that. Nah, who cares? Just dunk on dudes with heavy weaponry. You don't have to think about anything. It is zero brain activity, and I am all for it. Let me be the Unga Bunga man. But so I was going to bring this up. I actually noticed this a couple days ago, and I can't be the only one. So I gotta ask you guys, have you noticed a rise in, like, baked-in promotions? Like, you know, the usual ad stuff, where someone's like, oh, this video is brought to you by Manscaped or Ridge or whatever. But I'm seeing a lot of these instances lately, like past couple weeks. But it's all sponsorships of, like, Counter-Strike skin gambling sites again. Or I'm seeing loot box websites where they're like, you can open a loot box and maybe get some Supreme and all this stuff. Yo, it's the Blight Haulers! Those are finally here. Cool. I was wondering when those would show up. Those are new with this season. But yeah. It's something I'd seen, and it kind of surprised me. Because back in my day, I remember... Okay, what was this? Vespasiana is the patron saint of orphans on Torvid Prime, blah blah blah. She was penitent soul, member of the Sisters Repentia, who found herself in the middle of a deadly necroplague outbreak. As the planet's capital plunged into bedlam and anarchy, she pledged to defend the central orphanage of the city, standing alone against untold hordes of poxwalkers. Her efforts saved several hundred children who later all testified that they saw her leap amongst the unclean on wings of golden light. Her body was never found, but the Emperor statues at the battle site started weeping tears of blood after her sacrifice. The phenomenon continues to occur this day from time to time, and whenever it does, the tears are dutifully collected and dedicated to her memory. Okay, so it's lore. But yeah, just seeing these gambling things, which, I'll say this, if you're an adult, spend your money how you want. You want to throw it into gambling, be my guest. I'm not your mother, I'm not going to stop you. But at the same time, I also think there is some underhand stuff back when people were pushing, like, Stake, which was a crypto gambling site you saw a lot on Twitch before Kick really got big. And the problem was, it could not legally pay out to US citizens. So people were being told, oh yeah, go to this site, gamble here. And the problem was, they couldn't pay out. So they would invest, $100 worth of crypto, only to be told, yeah, we can't pay it out, so it's trapped. And there was nothing telling these people it was on them to do the research. Now, should people be dutiful about this? Yes. You should do your research. But at the same time, you shouldn't peddle this stuff to your market. If you're a mostly, US, UK streamer, or that's where most of your audience is, you should know that this doesn't pay out to those places, and you probably shouldn't be trying to essentially scam your viewers. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, it's teaching kids to gamble. No, there's tons of stuff that teaches kids about gambling. Hell, I used to play, I remember on the computer they used to have, video casinos, where it's like, oh yeah, you put the disc in and just play. You could start a new account and get money and play slots. I used to do that. I thought it was fun. And then I got bored because that's all I did was play slots and lose money, and I was like, this kind of blows. They used to have, I don't know if they do anymore, but slot machines in Pokemon. That's how you used to get enough coins for an Eevee or Porygon in Gen 1. Did it teach kids to gamble? Maybe. I don't fully think so, but that's just me. Yay, Void Crusades are unlocked. An Archaeotech Purity Seal and some other stuff I accidentally clicked through. Let's try that armor out. We could also try that armor out. That one's actually higher quality. We'll try this Sanctity one, because I think the Butchering is going to give us something kind of useless. It is a better item. We do lose shield. We'll try it. Can I... There. Mark it as a favorite, so it shouldn't delete it now. Everything else, though. Quick lightning round through. I mean, that's a 6 statter. Heat resist, loot quantity, knockback on critical... Yeah, let's just go for that. That's pretty solid. All resistance is increased when exposed. The middle two are a waste. I'll just hold out. Actually, we gotta level up quick. Alright, let's jump into this intel. Ooh. Nah, we'll be fine. Heat resist, that's gonna suck. But we'll do it. We should have the damage to output and beat them. Now back to my point about all this stuff. This game-like stuff is Like, I don't see a problem marketing it to adults. We're adults, we can make our own poor financial decisions. The problem comes when it's targeted at kids. And if you, for some reason, weren't around or weren't following what was going on YouTube a good 7 years ago at this point, we had, a little history lesson here, CSGO gambling. This was big. There were people who, this was all they made content on. And there were guys who were sitting around, it was like T. Martin and those type of idiots. They sat there that infamously were like, oh yeah, so I just stumbled upon this CSGO skin site and I'll just put $50 in and see what I get. And then they'd pull like Crimson Web CSGO knives worth like $400 or $500. And they'd start freaking out. They're like, oh my god! And then they'd do it again and get a Hyper Beast. And they would just continually do it, and they would never really lose. And it later came out, yeah, it was T. Martin and Pro Syndicate. Those were the two who really got big on this, or they were already big, but they were the biggest names people knew. But they were doing it, and then people found out the site they were going to, they owned. And they never disclosed the ownership of the site. So it was all deceptive practices. And there's always that matter, or you even saw this as of recently with some of these guys gambling on some of these sites with just money playing video slots, where they just call up the owners of the site and be like, hey, I need like another 50 grand another 50 grand within my account. And they just be like, okay, yeah, sure, whatever. And then magically just boop, 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 50 grand just appears. Because they're playing with house money. And it's deceptive. Because, yeah, you can throw tons of money and you're never really losing. And unlike normal, casinos, where casinos, there are rules and regulations. People have to win. You can't just set up a casino or set up a slot machine that never pays out. But so, it's a lot of problems like that, where it's like, maybe don't advertise this crap. And especially some of this stuff, because it's hype beast stuff. Oh, this loot box, you can get all these fast fashion clothes. It's like, these stupid little, 13-year-olds are gonna be like, oh man, I can get a Supreme brick for this? Yes, there are Supreme bricks. They're like, I can't remember how much they are. I've seen them go for $200. There's also a Supreme crowbar. It's literally just a red crowbar with Supreme on it. It's stupid. At least the brick, last I saw, actually had the brand imprinted in the brick. But either way, stupid stuff. And they'll do it. Or they'll get a parent's credit card and they'll do it. And I just feel like it always does, it leaves the door open for bad actors to come in and do shady stuff. Because if these couple sites that are being advertised get big enough, what's stopping any big streamer from doing it? Look at somebody like Speed. Speed is an idiot. Full stop. He is an actual moron. He has shilled crypto scams. He's done so much stupid stuff over his short time on the internet that I could easily see him being one of those people who someone comes up to him and is just like, hey, you want to invest in this gambling site? We're gonna make a bunch of money. You just have to promote it on stream and act like you don't own it. And he's dumb enough that I can guarantee he'd be like, yeah, sure. And unfortunately, there'd be apologists. Even though he's an adult, he needs to realize, he can't do certain things. Even if he's just 18, age is not a defense for committing crime. But I could see him doing it. I could see... he's the biggest one off the top of my head, but I can see this stuff coming around again. Just like with Save the Kids token, where some of the FaZe guys were running a crypto scam. I could see this happening. And I thought back in the day we stomped it out, but I guess, like all things, people forget with time. The heat has died off long enough that now we get this stupidity rising again. And I see it going poorly. Because it's a matter of when, it's not a matter of if. There's enough unscrupulous people on the internet now. The fact it's only been 7 years, and the faces I see now that are big are not the faces I saw 7 years ago. I've seen a number of YouTubers and streamers who've straight up left. They've retired, they've gotten screwed by the algorithm, so they've kind of stepped back. It's disheartening. Not because of getting screwed by the algorithm, but because, like I said, people aren't going to learn. Because it's a new generation. And some of these guys, I know they're old enough to have known the first time around. God, I want to say... Blame Truth? Did one? I can't remember. I zoned out. I skip ads most of the time when people do them in videos. Yeah, I do it, sue me. Honestly, if I did baked in ads, I would expect some of you guys to skip mine too. I'm not gonna be hypocritical and be like, no, you should totally do it, pay attention for my stuff. Nah. I get it entirely. Hell, there are browser extensions that apparently skip over that stuff for you, so none of it's a shocker. But yeah, it's just... It's worrying. But I guess at the end of the day, I can't sit here and be all too worried, because I even said it, it's a matter of when. It's gonna happen. The best you can hope for is that whatever damage is caused isn't a horrendous amount of damage. And even that said, is it really going to be comparable to legal stuff you see? Like, how many times we've seen stories of parents where they're like, oh, my kid got a hold of the iPad and we had the credit card hooked up and spent $15,000 on crystals for some game. And it's like, how? Why? How? Why again? For a third time, how? Why aren't you watching your child? Why aren't you having like a two-factor disconnecting the credit card? Then those instances are always funny because the parents go to the companies like, can we get our money back? The company's like, lol, no. Your kid spent $15,000 worth of crystals. That's on you. Come on, let me just cross over this whole area. Can I? Oh, I can't rocket them either. Oh, you actually can just run around. I didn't realize that. Get this last kill in. Leave no demon standing. Hey, we got another judgment mission. God. Get a ton of loot. A lot of it's tragically crap. I don't even have to check how these are gonna be. It's not like it's gonna compare to an ancient relic plasma cannon. Just chew it all up quick. Get our level up in. Just keep knocking out all these. Now I have to go through the rest of this. Suppression damage is gonna suck, but demoralize will be good. These will be useful. That's absolute trash. Knockdown buff. I have to take away all of their suppression and then have something that can inflict knockdown when I can just apply shock by some of my traits, so it's worthless, but need it to get that. But that is all for now. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to hit the like button. It helps out the channel a lot. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.